Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Once again, welcome everyone here tonight to the 2017 Smith County Sheriff's Office Award. We've got a lot of awards to present tonight. I assure you we're going to honor your time and keep, once we get the awards going, we're going to keep them going. First of all, I want to recognize several groups of people here. First of all, I'm going to start off with elected officials. If you would, just stand, and then if you would, hold your applause to the end, if you don't mind. Stand for a minute, let everybody see you, and then have a seat, and I'll go to the next one. First, State Senator Brian Hughes from Senate District 1. House of Representative Cole Hefner from District 5. 12th Court of Appeals, Chief Justice James Worthen, Justice Greg Neely, Justice Brian Hoyle, and we even have one in reserve. We had retired Justice Sam Griffith. We had Judge Bass here, we'd have an extra one. 114th State District Judge Christy Kennedy. 241st State District Judge Jack Skeen. 7th District State District Court Judge Kerry Russell. County Judge Nathaniel Moran. Commissioner Jeff Warr. Commissioner Kerry Nix. Commissioner Terry Phillips. Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, Mitch Schamberger. Justice of the Peace Precinct 3, James Meredith. I haven't seen Chief David Coble come in. I may have missed him. He's not here? Okay, no, Chief Toller. Now I'm going to introduce you to my command staff, which would the captains and above. Chief Deputy Robert Carlson. Chief Deputy Dale Farmer. Captain Ralph Caraway, Jr. Captain Jeremy Black. Major Paul Black. The next group of people I'm going to introduce you to is the Smith County Sheriff's Office Advisory Board, which I guess a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, I started an advisory board, and they were picked from citizens throughout Smith County for that reason, throughout Smith County for a reason, because I wanted to be able to reach out to people that had the finger on the pulse of their part of the Smith County community, and we meet periodically. And I'm gonna go ahead, Manny, and throw you a bone here at El Charro on the Ridge quite frequently. Fred Elder. Fred didn't make it. Okay, W.T. Smart from the Lindale area. His sidekick, David Thedford from New Harmony. James Gregory represents part of Tyler. Marvin Snodgrass. See, Marvin became ill. I forgot about that. Todd Upson represents Jamestown and the Garden Valley area. Freddie Giese, Lake Tyler area. And Dan Browder, I don't think I saw him either. The next group of individuals I want to introduce to you and kind of give you a little preface behind this. First of all, I want to thank two different groups here for this event, being able to have this event center and this fine food and fine fellowship. I want to thank, first of all, the Smith County Commissioners for helping make it happen. Then I want to also thank a newly installed Smith County Sheriff's Office Foundation Board, 501c3. And first of all, I'm going to call the board, and if you will, when you stand up this time, stay standing until I ask you to sit. David Dobbs, he's the secretary on the board. Robin Doherty, I don't know, Robin didn't make it. Jeff Johnston, go ahead and throw him a bone too. Chick-fil-A on Broadway. Glenn Greeny, Southside Bank. Cindy Miller with Southside Bank. Cindy is our treasurer. She says she's always heard of volunteer, but she's never heard of voluntold. Thank you all very much. You can be seated. The next list of names and businesses I'm going to read to you, these donations that I'm going to read you here were unsolicited. And I want you to understand they're unsolicited. They did it on their own. First is Charles Hill with Encore. Thanks, Charles. Dave, I tell you what, remain standing. I'm sorry you're the first, but just remain standing if you don't mind. David Stein. Manny Vea and his wife. And I forgot. Charles is with Encore. David Stein is Office Pride of East Texas. Manny and his wife have El Charro on the Ridge. Anwar Khalifa, Pyramid Homes, Graduate Master Builder. Reese Morrison, who is an individual that this is the third year that he's given, and it's first time the money has gone into the foundation, but he has given 3 years in a row towards vests for our officers. Mitch Henderson, First Flying H, I don't think Mitch is here, but we'll call his name anyway. Jeff Johnston with Chick-fil-A on Broadway, not to be mistaken with the one on Troop. Y'all can be seated. Thank y'all very much. I just got a note passed here that Chief Toller is now in the building. He was in the buffet line. You ought to know donuts and food for the police department. Chief, if you would stand up, please. Stand up where everybody can see you, please. Thank you for coming, Chief. And I want to add, while we're talking about Chief Toller here, this is nothing bad, Chief. I'm going to behave. Leslie's over here. I want to tell you how honored I am to work with this man. We have one of the greatest relationships there's ever been between the Smith County Sheriff's Office and Tyler Police Department. Thank you. I'm next going to read a list of names of people that gave to the foundation that couldn't be present here tonight. Austin Rohr with Superior Firearms. Chad Parker, a local attorney. Clyde Walker, Mid-State Services. David English, Mobile Comm Services. David Jordan, CCS Correct Care Solutions. Kevin L. Tife, retired senator, Senate District 1, who Kevin L. Tife it was the very first one to write a check. The first one that stood up to form the foundation and use his professional office to do so was David Dobbs. Morris Hallman with Hallman Investment, Michael Mahfood, Group M7, Scott Jordan with Wagner Cadillac, and Tammy McDowell with Fire Station Service Repair. And some of these gave a significant amount. Judge Moran, not so much that we don't need the money next year. I just want to go ahead and clear that up while we're on that subject. Just thought I'd throw that in there. I know how you are. I would also like to also recognize two other individuals here tonight that are no strangers to law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement 41 years this year, and I know I don't look like I'm just 50-something years old, but I started when I was about 12. But this individual here, from his mom and dad back in those days, have been very generous to law enforcement, and that's Brad Brookshire. Brad, if you would stand up. Thank you very much. Another individual who is very good to law enforcement and holds lots of events at his little farm, Harry Leatherwood. Thank you, Harry. Next, I want to introduce you to a young man that is going to be our MC tonight. He's going to be standing up here on the stage. Oh, I left out another whole sheet somewhere because I just thought of some people I forgot to recognize. One is our district attorney, Matt Bingham. Hey, stand all the way up, Matt. Come on. And then our January 1st next year will be our incoming district attorney, Jacob Putman. Now I want to tell Doc, number one, we appreciate very much you agreeing to do this. I know we tried to get you last year. You're a man in demand, but I think it was on your birthday last year. You said yes, but your wife said no. But we appreciate you being able to make it this year. And if you would, go ahead and we'll get the award started. But while he's walking up there, I just want to say something to the men and women of the Smith County Sheriff's Office. Like I said, I've been in law enforcement 41 years. I've been all over the United States, all over numerous foreign countries working in law enforcement. And I can't think of some of the finer young men and women that I've ever worked with in here at the Smith County Sheriff's Office. That includes support staff, the jail, patrol, CID, everyone. And I'm not just saying that to be saying it, I say it because I mean it. So, Doc, do you have your...
Sir.
The way we're going to do this before Doc gets started, Doc is going to... did you get some water up there?
Got a cup, man.
Because you're going to need it. Because he's got 14 pages to read, but we're going to get these awards started. We're going to keep them going. So if you receive an award, try to make it as quickly as you can up here. Once you get your award right here, then you have a photograph taken, and then we'll have the next group coming up. So Doc, if you just go off of that.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Sheriff. Good to be with you guys tonight. Thank you all for the invite. And as the sheriff said, I'd been here last year, but Alyssa, she pulled the wife card. She said, no, we're not doing it on your birthday. So, yes, ma'am. Glad to do that. But it's an honor to be here tonight. A lot of great folks we're going to get to tell some stories about tonight. And I hope you enjoy the chance to get to know some of these people a little bit better and just see how many incredible heroes we have here in the building if you didn't already know that. First award recipients tonight are going to set the tone for the ceremony. These three individuals are assigned to the jail division and began their law enforcement careers as detention officers with the Smith County Sheriff's Office. Each of these individuals were selected to attend the East Texas Police Academy in Kilgore, and they excelled academically and set a very high bar for the co-workers to follow. They instill pride in the office. Each of these individuals were class valedictorians in their respective classes. First is Deputy Tony Rucker, valedictorian of East Texas Police Academy Class 302. Second, Deputy Justin Bell, valedictorian of East Texas Police Academy Class 304. And finally, Deputy Tracy Timmons, valedictorian of East Texas Police Academy 308. Let's join me in congratulating these folks. Good job, y'all. Well done.
Y'all can give them a round of applause now. Thank you.
All right. Next award going to be presented by the East Texas Regional Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 51. Representatives Chuck Boyce and Vice President J.H. Burge are going to come up and give you a few remarks, okay? Oh, come on.
Hey, y'all. I'm Chuck Boyce, the president of East Texas Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 51. J.H. Burge is the first vice president. We're here to award the FOP Brother Sister of the Year. This year's winner is our secretary, Christy McDowell. She gets this really cool plaque, and at Hot Rod Arms, there's a little Glock waiting on you.
Oh, man. Man. Thanks, y'all. Next two awards go to two individuals with an outstanding worth ethic. They're responsible for the compliance division of the Smith County Jail. Along with this position, there are a number of reports of great importance that they're responsible for and work with numerous sergeants and officers in order to get the reports completed in a timely manner. They have strived to maintain a great working relationship with the sergeants and the officers that they work with, and there's a great deal of responsibility that goes along with the position. Officer Davis and Deputy Jones handle it in stride. They're an outstanding team and do an excellent job on a daily basis. It's with great pride we present Jail Compliance Deputy Charles and Compliance Detention Officer Coretta Davis with the Sheriff's Achievement Award. On January 28th, 2017, about 3:40 a.m., a robbery occurred at the Conoco convenience store on East-Northeast Loop 323 in Tyler. A deputy was close by and responded with an ETA of approximately 2 minutes. Unknown to him at the time, the clerk had been fatally injured in the robbery. Upon his approach to the area, he observed a sedan turning east off of Shirley Drive. This deputy knows that area, knows Shirley Drive to be a dead-end street which ends close to the rear of the Conoco convenience store. He also knew this to be a business park and not a residential area, and a vehicle on that road at the time was highly unusual and highly suspicious, especially following a report of a robbery at a gas station so close by. The deputy being dispatched to respond to the convenience store made the tough decision to follow his training, experience, and gut feeling and act on the vehicle he had observed. His decision was a correct decision, and the vehicle was occupied by the suspects of the robbery. A vehicle pursuit and ultimately a manhunt occurred a short time later. The vehicle was subsequently recovered and was primarily the result of the deputy's actions. This case, as well as numerous other robberies, was solved with all the actors involved were apprehended. The actions of this deputy is what was needed in order to perfect a prosecutable case and bring several individuals to justice. This is the result of actions taken early morning by Deputy Deaver. For this, we are proud to present Deputy Cody Deaver with the Sheriff's Achievement Award. Good job, brother. Well done. This next individual is very enthusiastic and motivated patrol deputy who is always willing to assist others in their jobs and motivate his coworkers to better themselves. He's always willing to stay late and answer calls and perform his duties in a positive manner that is beneficial to the sheriff's office. He's a well-rounded deputy who is both proactive on traffic enforcement, warrant services, and patrolling high-crime areas in an attempt to both put suspects in jail and reduce the crime in that respective area. He passes on all important information related to those high crime areas to his coworkers in an effort to continuously reduce the amount of crime in that area. He takes time and puts effort into the reports and conducts thorough investigations on his cases to assist CID in an effort to make their job simpler and more successful. He is a team player. Deputy Sean McClanahan is a valuable asset to the agency, and we proudly present Sheriff's Achievement Award. Job. This next individual is familiar with every position within the Smith County Jail. He's very efficient and thorough with all required reporting, procedures, and documentation. He exudes energy during his work, which is contagious with the others on his shift. He is firm but fair with all subordinates and inmates he supervises. We're proud to recognize Sergeant Nathan Curran with the Sheriff's Achievement Award. Good job, buddy. On July 2nd, 2017, this deputy was working stationary radar in Winona when he stopped a gold passenger car for speeding. As a result of observations made by this deputy, as well as a subsequent interview of the occupants in the vehicle, many pieces of equipment which indicated the occupants of the vehicle were involved in a credit card scheming operation. During this time, areas all over the country were being victimized by credit card skimmers, mainly at gas pumps located at convenience stores. On this stop, on this night, this deputy used his investigative skills to get into the subject's vehicle and uncover evidence that linked the occupants to illicit operations such as this one. The information gained on this night proved to be very valuable as investigators were looking for leads just like this. Deputy Robert Garcia's efforts and persistence in fighting crime has not gone without notice. Deputy Garcia gets the Certificate of Merit. Good job, sir. Those darn credit card skimmers, Sheriff, man, they're everywhere.
They are.
I'm about afraid to pump gas myself every time I go up there. I'm like, just waiting on something to happen. Yeah. Over the next couple minutes, we have several different awards here. For over the year, the Northeast Texas area has been inundated with credit card skimmers. Here we go. The electronic devices are being installed on gas pumps, and as the customer purchases fuels with the debit or credit card, the suspect obtains the financial information and uses the information to defraud the victims. Many of the suspects are from the Houston area, as well as Florida. This type of investigation requires a great deal of investigative work, as well as cooperation and liaison with other law enforcement agencies. This detective has expended many successful investigative hours into these type investigations and is a member of the North Texas Financial Crimes Task Force. The task force comprised of deputies from the Smith County Sheriff's Office, Tyler PD, special agents with the U.S. Secret Service. The task force is diligently made to combat this nationwide issue. This detective has been involved in the recovery of over 40 skimming devices hidden in inside gas pumps throughout Smith County, as well as other East Texas counties. He's been involved in the successful prosecution of over 30 suspects involved in skimming operations. He has also been involved in training other officers in techniques of locating credit card skimmers and protocols for arresting the suspects committing the crimes. Because of this dedication, the deputy, and above average work ethic, we're proud to present Detective John Partlow with the Certificate of Merit. I believe everyone will agree that our greatest treasures here are our children. It takes a special type of law enforcement officer to be able to work with children day in and day out, to be able to gain their trust and their respect. This individual has worked to protect our children and school district employees for many years now and continues to receive great accolades. She knows when to be stern and she knows when they need to be hugged. We're proud to present the Certificate of Merit to Chapel Hill ISD School Resource Officer Wendy Savering. Thank you, ma'am. This deputy is probably one of the most caring, kind, and considerate deputies within law enforcement in Smith County. He routinely asks any person he comes into contact with if he can do anything for him. He's very active in training others in crisis intervention and is involved with teaching almost every course involved with crisis intervention and law enforcement, from the 8-hour mental health first aid class to the 40-hour mental health course. He is part of the mental health leadership team on the panel with the Women's Crisis Center and involved in and embedded in several other community-based organizations. It's commonly known that he would give you the shirt off his back, and he has. This job is not just a job to him, it's a calling, and his profession. He makes every person around him feel better. We are proud to present Deputy David Biggs with a Certificate of Merit. As David's coming up, I'll add this too. Additionally, Sheriff was recently requested by the founder of the organization, Love the Badge, to nominate an individual within the Sheriff's Office for an award from Love the Badge. Tricia Miller, founder of Love the Badge, is proud to present this award to Crisis Intervention Team Deputy David Biggs. This award comes with the plaque as well as a Glock 43 pistol. Not bad.
Thank you, Sheriff Smith. I'll hand this to you, put that in your hands. I stand here tonight representing Love the Badge. Love the Badge is about law-abiding citizens who greatly appreciate everything that you do to keep us safe and to take care of us. It is about the brave men and women in this room tonight, that the way that you form a powerful shield to protect us in this region, in this Smith County. And tonight we want to express our gratitude for all that you do to keep us safe. We want to thank you for the sacrifices that you and your family make to keep us safe and to provide a place of security for us in this region, and we greatly appreciate all that our law enforcement does for us in this region in keeping us safe. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Next recipient is by no means a stranger to all Smith County law enforcement. He is not a law enforcement officer, but he's always been a sounding board and a mentor to law enforcement officers on what is expected of them by the citizens they have sworn to protect and serve. We know it to be common knowledge that this individual has assisted numerous troopers and deputies in many body repairs to their vehicles, so their supervisors would not be aware. That's quite interesting right there. He was instrumental in saving Smith County thousands of taxpayer dollars in the striping of patrol vehicles. With his assistance, the striping, which once cost over $2,000, is now being completed for $500. And I don't have a name here on this. Oh, okay. Sheriff, you want to give him that?
He is lovingly known as SO 1.5. Mine would be SO 1. This is 1.5. But his name is Pete Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Yes, sir.
I can assure you in my first few years in office, not that that's the only time I've made mistakes, but I would hear from it from that man right there, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. On August 21st, 2017, a small child had been playing on a porch and in a matter of a few minutes had somehow made his way to a small lake. The mother, after observing the dog running from the area of the lake, ran to the lake where she saw her son floating with his head under the water line. She immediately grabbed him from the water and yelled for her father, Kevin Sanders, who ran to her location. Once Mr. Sanders arrived, he took the unresponsive child and began CPR. He continued CPR for several minutes until Deputy David Hickey arrived on the scene to take over. The child survived and recovered after receiving further care in the hospital. Kevin's actions greatly contributed to the saving of this child's life and a quick recovery. Civilian Life-Saving Award presented tonight to Kevin Sanders. Wow. Thank you, sir. Along those same lines, August 21st, the deputy responded to a call for medical assistance on County Road 195. The call was related to the possible drowning of a toddler. This deputy was nearby, arrived quickly to find the family members surrounding the small child on the ground. The child was dirty, covered in grass, struggling to breathe. While holding the child and supporting the neck, he took immediate action by flipping the child over. He began to give firm strikes on the back to move the water from the lungs and the airway. He continued this action for quite some time as the child began to spit up the water. The child began to take labored breaths as the deputy held him until emergency medical services arrived. The child survived, made a full recovery after receiving further care. The deputy's actions greatly contributed to the saving of this child's life. Life-saving medal also presented to Deputy David Hickey. We'll get that award to him. September 2017, a small group of Smith County deputies volunteered to deploy to the Houston region to assist with Hurricane Harvey relief efforts. The group spent 1 week assigned to the Houston PD Northwest Division, assisting with supplementing their uniformed officers performing patrol duties. Their presence made it possible for the Houston PD officers to have much needed time off as they were working mandatory shifts with all days off canceled. Extra officers were also needed to provide security and deter looting to damaged homes and businesses, as members of the small group gladly volunteered to provide their services while being away from their own families. Their actions demonstrated selflessness as they gave no thought to their own comfort or safety to assist in any way possible after the tragic disaster. Their actions received great praise from Houston Police Department leadership and a letter of commendation from the chief of the Houston Police Department. We proudly present this group with the Commander's Citation. That would include Lieutenant Toby Hughes, Detective Jason Railsback, Canine Detective Juan Cervantes, Detective TJ Cutright, Reserve Deputy Doug Hanning, and Reserve Deputy Kelly Cox. Great job, guys. Next recipient has been with the Sheriff's Office for 14 years. He is a dedicated hard worker. He's been in the Criminal Investigation Division Property Unit for 5 years and has proven to be an asset to the unit. He assists in training new detectives, and his experience makes him a go-to person for other detectives in his unit. On October the 17th of 2017, he was heard over the radio requesting the Tyler Fire Department be sent to an address on Sunny Hill Drive in Tyler. He sounded out of breath, and it was obvious to all who know him that something was wrong. Other detectives arrived to check his welfare. Black smoke could be seen rising in the air from quite a distance. Upon contacting him, he was still a bit winded, but he was okay. The house was billowing with smoke out of all the windows, including the attic. The fire department was on the scene and had just begun trying to suppress the fire. He had seen the smoke as he was driving on the West Loop and took it upon himself to find the source of the fire. After calling for the fire department, he went up to the house and attempted to kick the door in several times in an attempt to gain entry. He was unable to gain entry through the window as they had bars on them. It was later determined there was a heavy piece of furniture blocking the front door. Contact was subsequently made with the occupant of the residence. Not only did Detective Loftus show exceptional courage by going out of his way to check on the fire, he also showed extreme bravery in the face of imminent danger and the possibility of personal injury with no regard for himself in clearing the residence. Detective Theodric Loftus is deserving of the Sheriff's Distinguished Service Award. Yes, sir.
Detective Loftus would like for everyone to know he did make it into the residence. He's afraid y'all think he didn't make it in there. But as you can see, he could have made a new door.
I was going to say, that guy could get in a door. Okay. This person always has one of the best attitudes and is always willing to lend a hand. He has spent the past year assisting with the Sheriff's Office Explorer program and has been very instrumental in their success. He's an outstanding mentor who leads by example and is a role model to each of them. This person also has been very instrumental in the Sheriff's Office footprint in the community. He is at the forefront of the organization's community service abilities and always represents the Sheriff's Office with the utmost professionalism. He is a valuable asset and team member, and we're all honored to work with him. Sheriff's Meritorious Service Award presented to Sergeant Clayton Taylor. Thank you, sir. Next award recipient has many important duties at the Smith County Sheriff's Office. They never complain whenever they continue to receive task after task, all of which are usually time sensitive. This individual has learned many intricate requirements that it takes to make a successful law enforcement agency function to all its full potential. Many don't understand what goes on behind the scenes in order to allow progress. This employee not only recognizes what it takes, but they chip in and help others while also doing their own job. We're proud to award Administrative Assistant Kim Rudd with the Civilian Employee of the Year. On July 2nd, 2017, this deputy was called to assist a fellow deputy with the pursuit of a suspect vehicle. When the suspect vehicle turned onto the roadway in the deputy's direction, This deputy turned his marked patrol unit around in an effort to join in the pursuit. While on the side of the roadway, the suspect intentionally used his vehicle to ram the patrol unit, causing major damage to both vehicles, and caused this deputy to become trapped inside his vehicle with his left hand having suffered a severe injury. After a brief moment, he was able to retrieve his weapon and hold the suspect at gunpoint while giving him commands until more deputies arrived and were able to take the suspect into custody. Because of the suspect's actions, Deputy Bishop has gone through multiple surgeries and hours of physical therapy, and as of this time, he still doesn't have full use of his left hand. Deputy Bishop suffered serious bodily injury during the performance of his duty because of the egregious and aggressive action by the suspect. We proudly present Sheriff's Star to Deputy James Bishop. Good job, sir. On December 14th, 2017, approximately 10 o'clock in the evening, several patrol deputies responded to an address in Smith County in reference to a suicidal female. The deputies were advised the female subject was inside of her bathroom with a pistol and was ready to end her life. Deputies were advised prior to arrival that the female caller had a history of suicidal intentions and suffered depression due to some recent events in her life. Deputies arrived on location and immediately heard the sound of a gunshot inside the residence. All three of these deputies rushed inside, found the female lying face down in a bathtub filled with water and blood. Without hesitation, they pulled the female out of the bathtub and administered first aid. The deputies noticed that the female had a single gunshot wound to the head and continued to apply pressure to prevent further blood loss. The female then regained consciousness and became extremely combative. They each remained professional and held their composure very well and made sure that the injured female remained calm, all while tending to her gunshot wound. The deputies were then able to pick the female up and carry her outside, placing her on a stretcher for emergency medical services. As a result of their quick response, they stopped the female from drowning in the bathtub and prevented her from losing a large amount of blood, which was sure to have ended with loss of life. Life-saving medal is presented to deputies Matt Lazarine, Josh DeCour, and Jeremy Thompson. Good job, y'all. Although many of us have only recently met the next recipient, they fulfilled one of the most important missions that affected the entire Smith County Sheriff's Office. Most of us remember the dreadful day in February of 2005, February 24th, 2005, when a gunman killed 2 individuals and wounded several others outside the Smith County Courthouse. One of our own, Detective Sherman Dollison, was critically wounded that day and has suffered daily as a result. Though Detective Dollison was wounded, he continued to engage the gunman, most likely saving other lives in the process. A search for a much-needed kidney donor was ongoing when it was determined that Detective Dollison's next-door neighbor at work, Detective Josh Hill, was not only a match, but was unselfishly willing to give up one of his kidneys for his law enforcement brother. Doesn't God work in the most glorious way? In August of 2017, that transplant took place, just in time. As Detective Dollison's physical condition was deteriorating, he was undergoing dialysis multiple times a week. We might add, never witnessed the calm, confident, and tenacious demeanor like we did with Detective Sherman Dollison during this time. He kept working anytime he could, as if there was no issue with his health whatsoever. The surgery was performed by a very capable individual here in Tyler at East Texas Medical Center. Prior to, during, and subsequent to the surgery, Dr. Stephen Potter has been nothing but short of miraculous. He went above and beyond the call of duty. Both Sherman and Josh received outstanding care from Dr. Potter. Without the surgery, the prognosis for Sherman was bleak. For his outstanding service, friendship, and commitment, we're proud to award Dr. Stephen R. Potter with the Civilian Life-Saving Award.
If I could get the whole table to come up here, please. We have the caseworker, the nurse, and Josh, all of you. Josh's wife, Sherman, and Sherman's wife. This next person always maintains a calm demeanor on the radio and is always able to give our transmissions in a clear and articulate manner. Her main concern is always the safety and well-being of the deputies and officers. She's an extraordinary example of what a team player and strong dispatcher resembles. She takes on extra responsibilities, including serving as the communications training officer, and has also assisted in compiling trainee and trainer manuals necessary for the training program. She acts as a sounding board for coworkers and is able to brainstorm and troubleshoot opportunities and always provides constructive feedback. She lends a hand without expecting anything in return. She's the ultimate team player and believes any job doing is worth doing right. We're proud to name the 2017 Telecommunicator of the Year, Sarah Evans. After midnight on June 17th of 2017, this deputy conducted a traffic stop on County Road 35. During the contact, this deputy instructed the male driver to exit the vehicle. As she attempted to detain the male, he attempted to strike the deputy, at which point she was able to deploy her taser. This had no effect on the male subject, and he fled into a nearby wooded area. The deputy was able to catch the subject, at which point a physical altercation ensued. During this interaction,
The male subject attempted to take the deputy's weapon. She was able to prevent this from occurring and was able to fire her weapon, stopping the subject's aggressive actions. This deputy calmly notified dispatch and kept the suspect at gunpoint until responding officers arrived. Deputy Fight demonstrated a calm and focus that is typical of more seasoned officers. Deputy Fight showed exceptional bravery in the imminent risk of bodily harm. She displayed great courage in an extraordinarily dangerous situation. We're proud to present Medal of Valor to Deputy Lauren Fight. Next recipient is dependable, hardworking, and self-motivated. He always comes to work when he is scheduled and often volunteers to come in on days when he's off. He regularly trains new employees in a manner that is encouraging and encourages the new employees to be the best they can be at their new job. When he is given a new assignment, he quickly excels at the task, often passing the newly learned knowledge on to his coworkers. Officer Amador has proven himself to be a valuable asset to the Smith County Sheriff's Jail Division. For these reasons, Detention Officer Jonathan Amador is being awarded Detention Officer of the Year. Congratulations. We're going to take this opportunity to express our appreciation and heartfelt thanks to a group of individuals that have an unrelenting commitment of service and dedication to the citizens of Smith County. In their many roles with the Smith County Sheriff's Office, they are constantly coordinating with other county departments and outside agencies, exhibiting a high level of skill, professionalism, and genuine desire to serve others without the need for fanfare. Tonight, the Smith County Sheriff's Office is proud to recognize our administrative support staff. Their hard work has not gone unnoticed, and the entire executive staff would like to express deep gratitude to each and every one of these individuals for a job well done. 2017 Unit Commendation Award is presented to the administrative support staff of the Sheriff's Office, which consists of Accountant Velma Medina, Accountant Amy Wright, Accountant Gail Cleaver, Administrative Assistant Adrian Duncan, Administrative Assistant Amanda Deck, Administrative Assistant Susan Smith, Administrative Assistant Jessica Gray, Administrative Assistant Jennifer Johnson, Administrative Assistant Kim Rudd, Administrative Assistant Heather Stoner, Receptionist Robin Chenault, and Personal Assistant Bailey Moore. This next recipient is a supervisor in the jail division and was nominated for the award by his peers. Though this individual, because of his position and is very busy most of the time, he always takes time to assist the detention officers in any way he can. He has been described as, quote, having the patience of Job. He is a strong leader, willing to take on any task he's required or that he requires of his staff, including taking out the trash. He has a good attitude, never loses his patience in dealing with the staff as well as the inmates. He is fair, firm, and consistent with everyone. He has high expectations from the staff, and he exhibits a great deal of professionalism. For these reasons, we're proud to present Detention Sergeant Marvin Martin with the Sheriff's Leadership Award. Job, sir. This supervisor makes everyone around him a better employee. He takes absolute pride in every task he does and believes in the men and women he leads every day. He is respected by his fellow officers for his knowledge, integrity, and dedication to his profession and this office. He's an outstanding leader who works with the officers to help them expand their knowledge and skills. He works well with other agencies, is always willing to help whenever he is asked, and far exceeds doing just his job. He always has a can-do attitude and is always seeking better ways to do things. Over the past year, he has been instrumental in the K-9's proactive community service, SWAT, patrol, school resource officer, and community service. He does not stop. He does not quit. It is safe to say many people would not be where they are today if it were not for his positive influence. We proudly present Sheriff Leadership Award to Sergeant Jeff Hobson.
Doc, that last statement does not only go for employees, it goes for the ones inside the jail as well. Surely y'all got that. I don't mean the workers in the jail, I mean the ones inside the jail.
Good job, sir. The job of a Smith County Sheriff's Office detention officer is a very challenging one. The following recipient is a detention officer that has been very devoted to the Smith County Sheriff's Office Jail Division. He's currently assigned to the low-risk facility. He's been very energetic and willing to learn the many different aspects of the jail. He has gone above and beyond to make himself available at all times, to include working on many of his days off. He shows up to work with a smile on his face every day. His attitude towards life is contagious, and he has spread throughout the jail in a positive manner. He does not complain about his job and strives daily to make others around him better. His work and his work ethic is amazing, and he strives daily for perfection. He has future plans to further his career with the Smith County Sheriff's Office and continue to move up through the ranks. It is for these reasons we are proud to present Robert Britton Rookie of the Year for the jail employee to Detention Officer Dante Keeler. This, as well as the award following, this is an award given to honor Smith County Deputy Robert Britton, who lost his life in the line of duty in service to the citizens of Smith County. His dad, retired Deputy Chief of Police of the Tyler Police Department, Leo Britton, will assist in presenting this award. Good job, sir. Since joining the patrol division, this deputy has been nothing short of extraordinary. He consistently shows above-average initiative and enthusiasm in the performance of his duties. Furthermore, he maintains a professional attitude and appearance at all times and exhibits an outstanding work ethic. You will never hear a complaint from this person or about this person. The product that this deputy produces is not that of a rookie, but is much more reflective of a veteran officer and should be emulated by all. He is constantly asking questions about ways to be better, he can better himself, or ways that he can better the agency. This is a rare commodity and is indicative of his passion for the job and his can-do attitude. This deputy's devotion to duty and tireless efforts reflects great credit upon himself, the sheriff of Smith County, and the citizens he serves. It is with great pleasure that we honor Deputy Anais Sutton with the 2017 Robert Britton Memorial Rookie of the Year. Next recipient began their career with the Smith County Sheriff's Office in 2002 after serving many years as a police officer at another department. After beginning in the patrol division, this individual was soon selected for the criminal investigation division. Throughout his career, they have investigated countless high-profile cases. In January 2017, this detective was assigned as lead officer on numerous aggravated robbery cases. January the 28th, the suspect committed an aggravated robbery that resulted in the shooting and subsequent death of a convenience store clerk. While investigating this capital murder, this detective, as well as others, worked tirelessly and diligently to identify the suspects. 3 suspects were taken into custody within just 3 days of the offense. This detective's investigative efforts were a monumental task. However, he was able to gather evidence, grab the evidence, and conduct interviews, write numerous search warrants, and compile all the information to perfect a case to present to the district attorney's office. We have recently learned that the state will seek the death penalty in this case. As we all know, capital murder investigations are one of the most in-depth investigations that a detective will conduct. Smith County is fortunate to have Detective Rathman. This is but one example of Detective Rathman's tenacity and dedication to the job. With almost 30 years of law enforcement experience, Detective Rathman is an asset to his unit and the department as a whole. He is deserving of the Plainclothes Officer of the Year. This next individual has shown in his short time as a patrol supervisor that he is a knowledgeable and strong leader. He is not only respected by his direct subordinates, but also by those who do not work directly under his supervision. He has shown that he is able to work with and promote a positive working environment with those he supervises. He has the unique ability to pull together different personalities, skill levels, and knowledge levels to create an outstanding team. His subordinates, co-workers, and supervisors will always find him available to answer questions, and he never hesitates in his decisions. He is logical and deliberate in the things that he does, and he bases his decisions on policy, the law, and the elusive common sense. He's always tried to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of his shift, the division, and the agency. Furthermore, he is constantly thinking of ways to streamline the process and loves teaching the proper way of doing something to the deputies. He has shown he believes in motivating through praise when earned and through counseling when needed, but all with the goal of remaining positive and making the deputy perform duties better. He's an example to others on how to look and act while on and off duty. It is with great pride and pleasure that we award the Don Pinkerton Memorial Supervisor of the Year to Patrol Sergeant Matt Christian.
If Pat Pinkerton Walker could come here and present this award, please.
Sorry about that, Miss Pat. The applause got ahead of me there. I was going to call you up, so didn't mean to leave you hanging there. Next recipient possesses an exemplary attitude and encourages others daily to improve and enjoy the law enforcement profession. He is, without a doubt, a go-to person who is frequently called upon to assist in complex situations, and he is eager to assist others and is proactive in his duties. He volunteers for extra assignments to include the boat team, armored vehicle operator, instructor, and DWI intoxilizer officer, to name a few. He's always available whenever needed and never complains about any assignment. This deputy also serves as the assistant chief with the Noonday Volunteer Fire Department, and you will find his picture in the dictionary beside the word servant. If it were not for his excellent relationships with others, his success may not come as easy. The deputy has an excellent attendance record, and it is definitely felt when he is not present. The deputy has shown a dedication to his craft and becoming a great peace officer through his tireless and selfless job performance. This deputy always represents the Smith County Sheriff's Office in a positive manner and takes great pride in suppressing crime and helping others anywhere he is assigned. The 2017 Dale David Getty Memorial Peace Officer of the Year is proudly presented to Deputy Kevin Londoff. This award is given in honor of Constable Dale. Dale Getty lost his life in the line of duty in the service to the citizens of Smith County. His widow, Lisa Getty, will assist in presenting this award. This time, Sheriff, I believe Mr. and Mrs. Broyles
Yes.
coming up.
Doc, you can go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
You've done a great, outstanding job, but come get you a well-deserved glass of water. Thank you. Let's give Doc a hand. Mr. and Miss Broyles, if y'all would come forward, please. Mr. and Miss Brawls, Mr. and Mrs. Don Brawls had a son, Detective Anthony Brawls, Anthony Don Brawls, who, as Chief Toller does for me sometimes, I did from Longview Police Department and borrowed him full time to work over here, and I was glad to get him. I tell you what, God does work in mysterious ways. Just short of Christmas, of this past Christmas, I'm going to try to keep it together here. I came in the office as I do every day, and Sherman Dollison and some other detectives had been recovering stolen saddles. And as I like to pretty often, much more than they probably want me to, I said, I'll go along with you. They were going to do what we could call buy bust and buy the saddles back from the crook and arrest him. And I said, okay, I'll go. Well, they had all their cars full, so I looked in there at Anthony. I said, Anthony, what are you doing? Nothing, Sheriff, what do you need? Which he always did. What do you need? So Anthony got up and went with me. And on the way out there, we're at 271 in the interstate to the truck stop. We had a lot of time to sit there and talk to one another. And he was looking forward to Christmas dinner. He had lost his grandmother the previous year, or earlier that year. And he was looking forward to the first time ever his mom cooking Christmas dinner. And I talked to him afterwards, I talked to Mrs. Brawls afterwards. And she said, Anthony said it's the best Christmas dinner he'd had yet. But I tell you what, I'm going to read a few things that are etched on this plaque. And what I'm doing is presenting them his badge and his nameplate. But I spoke at his funeral for just a few minutes. And I wasn't by myself, and I didn't talk to any of these other people. I didn't know whether they were going to call him the same thing I was calling him. And the words that came out was gentle giant. He was a giant of a man, but very gentle, a great worker. And I'm going to read you some of the words that describe Anthony. Humility, honor, integrity, professionalism, excellence, fairness, trust, and friendship. And he exemplifies each one of those words. Thank you for letting us borrow him as long as we had him. Okay, if y'all would have a seat for a minute. I know that's the last presentation that it shows on your, but the sheriff always has a surprise. And we've still got 15 minutes to go. But there's one very deserving individual in the sheriff's office that hadn't gotten an award yet tonight, and it's not me. That's a joke. But he was nominated for several different awards, and I trumped all of that because what I wanted to do, you're going to see presented tonight for the very first time, but will be presented at our banquet from now on, the Anthony D. Brawls Gentle Giant Award. Okay, the final award of the night is the first presentation, however, will be presented at all award banquets in the future. This award is presented in the name of our beloved late Detective Anthony D. Brawls. As you just heard in the presentation made to Mr. and Miss Brawls, Anthony was a very, very well-respected detective. in the Smith County Sheriff's Office was truly a gentle giant. I'm sure he is smiling down on us from heaven tonight. The very first recipient of this award began his career at the Smith County Sheriff's Office in 2015. He, just as Anthony had, worked at another agency prior to coming to the Sheriff's Office. He began in the Patrol Division of the Sheriff's Office. During his time in the Patrol Division, he was extremely proactive and without doubt suppressed a great deal of criminal activity in Smith County. He subsequently transferred to the Criminal Investigation Division Narcotics Unit, where he excelled in large-scale narcotics investigations. He took his proactive approach to law enforcement and utilized it in the narcotics investigation setting. He then transferred to the Property Crimes Unit of the Criminal Investigation Division, where he continued to excel. His work ethic was frequently complimented by his supervisors. He was the type of employee that every supervisor wants to have working for them. There was never a case that he did not have time for. He did not work 100% with 100% effort. He stood out in a crowd of extremely successful detectives. While assigned to the Property Crimes Unit, he was credited with saving the life of a suicidal man, recovering hundreds of thousands of dollars worth in stolen property, and securing convictions on offenders that totaled hundreds of years. He subsequently transferred to the Persons Crimes Unit within the Criminal Investigation Division and remains there today. There has yet to be an investigation that this individual has not taken and worked with the utmost respect and integrity for the victim and aggressively investigate it to ensure that closure was reached for that victim. Within the first week of transferring to the Persons Crimes Unit, he was assigned his first homicide investigation. The investigation of this homicide was complex and time-consuming. He handled this investigation like a 20-year homicide detective. Within hours of the homicide, he had the suspect in custody. Within a day of the homicide, he arrested 2 more, and before it was over, we had 5 defendants have been indicted in this case for murder and tampering with evidence. Recently, there was a threat made to the Smith County Sheriff's Office and Tyler Police Department. The threat stated that the individual was going to blow our buildings up. He took this bull by the horns as well. The threat was allegedly made by a male, but within 5 days of the threat being made, he learned that the threat was actually made by a female using a male's name to disguise her identity. Within an extremely short time period, he executed search warrants in other jurisdictions, several counties away, along with the help of his other peers. He executed search warrants and made an arrest for a terroristic threat. These are just a few of many examples that make him an asset to this office. Not to mention such things as providing one of his kidneys for a coworker. The above attributes emulate those of Detective Broyles. They also emulate the words on the plaque presented to Mr. and Mrs. Broyles in Anthony's name: humility, honor, integrity, professionalism, excellence, fairness, trust, and friendship. Please help me in congratulating Detective Josh Hill on being presented the first in the line of many to come, Detective Anthony D. Broyles Gentle Giant Award.